What is up, everybody? It is Mr. Morphetto, and today I wanna chit chat. I wanna do a little bit of a review, of a discussion, of a slight dissection. I want to talk about Hunter x Hunter. This anime I started maybe 2-3 months ago on a whim. I've heard good things about Hunter x Hunter from many people. One of my favorite animes of all time as a child was Yu Yu Hakusho, and I found out that Yu Yu Hakusho's creator made this series, Hunter x Hunter, after he finished Yu Yu Hakusho. And this series, I'm surprised, honestly, that it took me this long to even find out about Hunter x Hunter, for it being created by the same man who made the legendary Yu Yu Hakusho, which everybody knows about, at least from my generation. Everybody knows Yu Yu Hakusho. Yu Yu Hakusho has arguably one of the greatest arcs of all time, or sagas of all time, the Dark Tournament. The Dark Tournament is also arguably one of the greatest shonen tournaments of all time. It's so well done. It's amazing. It's one of those things I go back and rewatch at least the Dark Tournament arc every couple of years because I enjoy it oh so much. And the characters from Yu Yu Hakusho, Hiei, Kuwabara, Yusuke, and Kurama are legendary in the anime world, the manga world. And I waited so long, I guess, to watch Hunter x Hunter, and my only excuse is I really never heard of it before. I might have heard it in some kind of conversation or some anime review, and it just went in one ear and out the other. But I was listening to a review in the last few months about Hunter x Hunter, and it got me intrigued. So I stopped the review before I got too far in. I mean, honestly, spoilers couldn't have entered my brain because I didn't really know who the characters were. I was listening to a Team 4-star review of Hunter x Hunter, and I do enjoy my Team 4-star reviews. And I thought, why not? Let's hear what they have to say. I mean, if they like it, I will probably like it. I like a lot of what they like, so let's hear what we got going on. I'm also, in this last year, I've expanded my anime knowledge and whatnot. I'm halfway through One Piece. I finished My Hero Academia. I read all of Death Note for the first time, and so much more. I've started a bunch of other animes to see if they catch my fancy. But Hunter x Hunter is a gem, people. If you have not watched Hunter x Hunter, I'm telling you right now to stop this video, right this moment, go and watch Hunter x Hunter. The whole thing, I believe, is on Netflix. That's where I watched it. No commercials. You have no excuse not to dive into this amazing series. I am serious when I say that Hunter x Hunter is by far one of the greatest animes I've ever watched. And I'm being serious. It's not one of my favorite animes of all time, and I'll give you a reason why later in the video, but it is in my top 10 for sure. I don't think it broke the top 5. I'm currently in the middle of the Chimera Ant Arc, which is by far my favorite arc so far, or saga, whatever you want to call it. It's absolutely fantastic. This series starts off with a tournament, the Hunter exam, sort of a tournament. It's very, it reminds me a lot of the Chunin exams from Naruto. I believe the Hunter exams were actually written first, but I saw Naruto first, so that's where I get my... That's where I saw it first, so I assume, I don't know. I didn't check the dates. But the Hunter exams, it kicks off with an amazing arc where you get to learn about the main character, Gon Freece, and the other main character, Killua, Zoldyck. These two are the top two characters in this show. I do know that I've only watched the anime, so you got me there. I've never read the manga. I do have the Shonen Jump manga app, but for some reason you can't read Hunter x Hunter on there, because I would read it from start to finish, and I hear there is more to it in the manga. It's gone farther than the anime has. So I would love to read further ahead if possible. I'm curious to why you can't read it on the Shonen Jump manga app without paying more money. If you could let me know down in the comments why that is, that'd be sweet. Because you also can't read the Yu Yu Hakusho manga, which is frustrating because I would adore the opportunity to read the Yu Yu Hakusho manga. I've spent this last couple years reading the entire Dragon Ball manga, the entire Naruto manga, and I'm halfway through One Piece. I'm really enjoying reading these amazing mangas that are the source material of the animes that I love so much. So I started Hunter x Hunter on a whim, out of boredom. I was actually out of One Piece episodes to watch on the apps I had at the time. I now have the Funimation app, so I'm back on my One Piece anime journey, even though I did read ahead in the manga, of course. So I decided I need to start something new. I also had just recently finished My Hero Academia to the point where you can finish it in the anime, and I needed something new to watch. And I've kept hearing about this Hunter x Hunter. I listened to a partial review from TFS, so I knew I needed to give this thing a shot. So I put it on and casually watched it at first. It's really hard at first to start a new anime because you don't know what's going on. They're giving you so much information. You're trying to figure out this world. And at the beginning, I thought this series was going to be about hunters hunting like monsters or something. Giant monsters or chimera, creatures. I thought this was going to be sort of like a demon hunting thing, monster hunting anime, and the main character Gon and Killua at the beginning are trying to become hunters in this universe of Hunter x Hunter. They have to get a hunter's license so they can be paid to basically be assassins in a way. These licenses get them free air travel, or just travel in general. They can travel for free. They get officially licensed. They're basically like government warriors in a way. This show really doesn't have a lot of quote-unquote hunting of monsters, surprisingly. I really did expect it, especially from the first intro. There's like dinosaurs and shit in the intro, so I assumed maybe this would be mostly about them hunting giant monsters, and I would have been fine with that. But it actually turned out to be way better than that actually could be, because the problem with monsters being your main villain is they're probably pretty one note. They're usually mindless monsters in anime that have, they want to destroy or cause havoc or eat people, and I thought that might be a little boring, and I assumed eventually we'd meet an intelligent monster or some kind of super villain, or maybe a hunter would be a villain to have an intelligent villain with real motives. But man, I was completely thrown off. One of the first quote-unquote villains that shows up in this is Hisoka. Hisoka is a clown-type character. He kind of has got this mime face paint thing going on. Very flamboyant, to say the least. He's a little creepy. He's what TFS would say, he is fight sexual. He gets off on fighting strong opponents, and it's sometimes a little too much. I'm not going into complete detail on each arc this review. I might down the line. If you could comment down below and let me know if I should. Should I do some in-depth reviews on each saga in Hunter x Hunter? I don't know, because I've gone so far ahead. I'm already, midway through the Chimera Ant Arc, saga, and now I really enjoyed this ride, to say the least. So it kicks off with the Hunter exams, which is actually pretty long. Gon Freece, Killua, and then they meet two friends that are also main characters, but they really haven't done a whole lot lately. So I'm not sure if you consider these guys main characters, at least of the anime, and maybe it'll change. I recently got to the point where the king was born, and Kite got his head cut off. Spoiler alert. That's where I am in the story. There's much more to be had, so I don't know if Karapika and Leorio will become a bigger part of the later half of the Chimera Ant saga. I don't know, but Karapika and Leorio are also in the Hunter exams at the beginning. So really, there's four characters similar to Yu Yu Hakusho. Yu Yu Hakusho had Hiei, Kuwabara, Yusuke, and Kurama. This show has the main character Gon Freece, Killua, Karapika, and Leorio. These four kind of make up the main four characters that we follow at the beginning of this story. Karapika is from a certain clan that have a certain eye gimmick going on that reminds me a lot of Sasuke and his Sharingan, and his clan has been mostly wiped out to steal their eyes because their eyes have special abilities that make them stronger and they glow a crimson red. He actually sets up the next big arc with the Phantom Troop, which comes a little after the Hunter exams. The Hunter exams are a bunch of mini tests that these people have to go through. The first part is an endurance test where they have to run and walk and run a long distance to see who makes it past that part, and slowly they eliminate people one after the other. Eventually they end up in a cooking contest where they have to hunt a boar and cook it to a specific hunter's want of, I don't know, they want it a specific way, they want it to taste good. It's interesting because there's different types of hunters in the hunter's exam. There's ones that hunt monsters or cook as a hunter, and there's ones that hunt people. They really don't dive too much into the different types. They all seem to just be super humans that do mostly assassination jobs from what I've seen in the anime. They don't really go out of their way to do the cooking part of this. Leorio is kind of more of a medic character. He wants to be a doctor. Karapika, as I mentioned before, is trying to avenge his clan. Killua comes from a family called the Zoldyck family. They're a family of assassins, which also comes into play later during the Phantom Troop arc. So let's just get past the Hunter exams. They all make it to the finals. Everybody passes the Hunter exams, Gon, Karapika, and Leorio, but Killua drops out because his brother was secretly part of this exam as well, and turns out his brother is a crazy, powerful assassin, and he just scared Killua away, basically. It's pretty wild, to say the least. And Hisoka also passes and becomes a hunter as well. And I believe he was just doing this test just to see if he could find some good future opponents. And he does with Gon Freece and Killua, I guess you could say. From there, Gon, Karapika, and Leorio go on an adventure to go find Killua and basically get him out of his family's clutches, because his family just wants him to be an assassin. He's from a family of assassins that don't necessarily have to be hunters to be, I don't know, they're legendary assassins. Killua's family is insane. There's like this mini arc with him and his family, and it's rather interesting, and you meet a lot of really in-depth characters throughout this series, and I really can appreciate that. It's on par with the world building that One Piece has, I would have to say. I would have to say that it is on par with One Piece, because One Piece is such a big world. I'm only halfway through, and I'm sure it's even bigger than Hunter x Hunter's. But Hunter x Hunter's so good at building this world and this story and this plot. And I really enjoy that part of Hunter x Hunter. It's actually my favorite part of Hunter x Hunter. To be honest, I really appreciate the world building here. And honestly, my least favorite part of this series is probably the character. I'm not saying the characters are bad. Gon is cool, Killua's cool, Leorio's cool, Karapika's cool, but a lot of the time when I'm working with new anime, I almost immediately figure out who my favorite character is, and that's my guy or girl, and I follow that character. That's my person. But in this story, the story is so well crafted. The every piece moves exactly the way it should, in my opinion. Everything seems to go in the right direction for me. I don't have any complaints. But for some reason, not one of the main four characters has grabbed me in a way that makes me say, that's one of my most favorite anime characters of all time, which to me is my only disappointment with this show. There isn't a character in this show like Hiei, for example, from Yu Yu Hakusho, where he became quickly my favorite character of that series. Or Rock Lee from Naruto, who quickly became my favorite character from that series. Or Tien from Dragon Ball. Or Luffy from One Piece, and so on. I usually grab onto the side characters of the main story. Not necessarily the side characters, but never usually the main character, except for One Piece with Luffy. And really, I think I like all the characters in Hunter x Hunter equally, but not necessarily over the top love them in a way that I'd put them in my top 10 favorite anime characters of all time. But it's not a bad thing. It just means the whole thing, Hunter x Hunter as a whole, is an absolute masterpiece in anime storytelling and world building, and I absolutely enjoy that part of this series the most. They get Killua to leave his family. They join up. Him and Gon join up. Oh, I should probably say this about Killua. Killua is a beast and way stronger than the rest of the gang at the beginning of the series. He has this crazy... He's been training since he was a young child. And it's so interesting. He pulls a dude's heart out of his body while it's still beating. And the guy doesn't even realize he's lost his heart. That's how quickly Killua killed him during the Hunter exams. It's crazy. This kid is insane. If I had to pick a favorite character, it might be Killua because of his crazy cool abilities and he's a kind-hearted kid, but at the same time, when he needs to turn that trigger on and become the assassin from the Zoldyck family, he will, and he will kill you. Later on in the series, you start to learn more about Killua's past and what his real weaknesses are, but at the beginning, he truly is the strongest character of the main four. And I think that's rather cool that the main character, Gon, doesn't seem to get any freebies like characters like Goku seem to have. Gon loses a lot in this series. He does not usually come out on top against the main villain. He gets a lot of help from his friends, and rarely does he win a fight just with sheer power. Gon has to use a lot of strategy to make up for his lack of ability at the beginning of this series. He uses a fishing pole as a weapon at the beginning. That's how simple this guy is at first. And it's rather interesting because I was not attracted to the idea of him using a fishing pole as a weapon, and I am letting you know right now, eventually he does get rid of the fishing pole when they start introducing new abilities. There is a power scaling thing in this universe in Hunter x Hunter that I absolutely adore. It's one of the best power scaling ways of telling how strong a character is and how they beat each other. It's called Nen. During the Heavens Arena arc, Gon and Killua separate from the four and go on an adventure on this giant tower of fighting where they have to work their way to the top, and they make money by fighting. But they get to stay in this hotel, basically, and just fight people every other day or something. And they're using this to get stronger. And while they're there, they get to meet somebody who knows how to use Nen. And Nen is basically chakra, if from Naruto, or ki from Dragon Ball. But it's so much more here. Or Haki from One Piece. It's so much more here. I think Hunter x Hunter does this the best. Does chakra, energy, power the best. It's rather interesting. There's multiple different types of Nen. I honestly couldn't tell you exactly which ones they are. There's a manipulator Nen. There's I don't know. I shouldn't even try to come up with it at the top of my head. But each of them can develop their own unique abilities using their type of Nen. And it's really cool because later on, Karapika becomes this chain user and uses Nen-created chains. He can create chains, like literal physical chains, through his Nen abilities. But some other characters like Killua, when he develops his Nen, he uses it in almost an electric ability. He has electric powers. And that's really cool, if you ask me. A freaking... what's his damn name? Gon. He uses more of a physical type of fighting with his Nen. He does a rock, paper, scissors type attack. That's the most I've seen him use his Nen in ways as a physical attack. And I think it's pretty cool. And then there's Hisoka, the clown man, who's kind of Gon's rival in a lot of ways. But he really wants Gon to become stronger so he can fight him at his full strength. This guy is rather interesting. He's got a gum ability. I can't remember what it was called, but he can attach his energy to things and pull it back. It was pretty cool. During the Greed Island arc, which I'm gonna say right now is my least favorite arc of this series. And I know people are going to kill me for it because a lot of people love the Greed Island arc. They end up inside of a video game. They meet another lady who I really enjoy as a character named Bisky, or Biscuit, I think. And she becomes like their Master Roshi of this story. She's like this little girl, but turns out she's like 50 years old or 40 years old. And when she shows her true form, she's rather buff and so strong and whatnot, but she helps Gon and Killua develop their abilities so much more later on in the series. But before the Greed Island arc, before this video game arc that was created by Gon's father, who I forgot to mention, this whole story truly is about Gon trying to meet his father. His father is... God, I can't remember his name for the life of me. But he's trying to meet his father. His father is Jin, I think, or something like that. A gang of Freeze, and he looks a lot like Gon. And his father basically is a hunter as well, who took off when he was just an infant, and basically set up a bunch of different trials throughout the world for his son to accomplish so he could meet him one day. But he's totally the worst dad, almost as bad as worse than Goku. At least Goku was there when the kid was small, and let him grow up to be about 4 or 5 years old before he started to go, yeah, I'm gonna go die and train and do anything but be a dad. At least Goku shows up from time to time. This dude is kind of a piece of shit I mean, in a way, it's set up Gon a bunch of tasks so he can become as strong as his father one day. But I'm assuming Gon's father is insanely powerful. I haven't met him yet in the story. I'm excited to see what happens there. But I hope that it's not this big loving thing. I'm sure it's going to be an emotional reuniting of these two, but he's really never met his father. He's just been playing this game with him as he gets older and meets new friends, and it's kind of a way for Gon to become more powerful, and I assume this is what his father wanted. At the same time, his dad just wanted to be out and about and just be a hunter. And he's kind of a free spirit. You can understand that, I guess. That's his father. The main story thread that connects all of the arcs in Hunter x Hunter is Gon trying to find his father. Other than that, there is the York New City arc, which is by far my second favorite arc in this entire story. It actually follows Karapika a lot more than anybody else. The chain user Karapika, who's on his murdering path to kill the Phantom Troop. This group of this group that all has spiders tattooed on their back, the Phantom Troop. They're pretty badass, and they actually make multiple appearances throughout the series. I thought that they were going to slowly eliminate every member of the Phantom Troop, and then they would be gone by the end of the York New City arc, but I was wrong. They did eliminate a handful of them, and a lot of them did die from different reasons, different opponents. It's rather crazy, and there's a lot of elements to be involved in this part of the series. They're still developing their Nen at this time. Gon and the rest of them really don't stand a chance against the leader of the Phantom Troop. I think his name's Crollo? I could be wrong. And this dude is just terrible. He can steal people's Nen abilities and whatnot. There's a whole thing with them trying to help Karapika fight them and whatnot, and it's interesting. Karapika actually kills a couple members. They end up actually taking the power from the main Crollo, the main leader of the group, basically crippling this group. It's cool. My favorite fight from this entire series so far comes from the York New City arc, where Crollo fights Killua's father and grandfather. Killua's father and grandfather are beasts, and I cannot wait to see them again down the line. This fight between them, 2-on-1, is a gem, and it was highly unexpected. They get hired to take out the leader of the Phantom Troop in the middle of Karapika's assassination adventure, and Killua and Gon are all involved in this. It's this whole ordeal. It's so much fun. I highly recommend just watching the York New City arc, and if you love it, go and watch the whole series, because it's so much fun. Like I said, this series rivals Yu Yu Hakusho. I love Yu Yu Hakusho from a nostalgic standpoint, and I absolutely adore the characters from Yu Yu Hakusho. One of my favorite anime characters of all time, probably top 10, is Hiei. Who doesn't love Hiei? But I have to say, Hunter x Hunter's storytelling and world building beats Yu Yu Hakusho 9 times out of 10. I would say the only thing that Yu Yu Hakusho has that I would personally rank above anything that Hunter x Hunter has, probably just from a nostalgic standpoint, is the Dark Tournament saga. That thing is a beast. It's so good, and it rivals most anime stories and most tournaments. I mentioned it at the beginning of this review, and that's the only thing, that and the 4 main characters. I would have to say I rank the 4 main character of Yu Yu Hakusho in my head above the 4 main characters of Hunter x Hunter, but as I mentioned, it could just be a nostalgia thing. If I started with Hunter x Hunter as a kid, maybe I would enjoy it much more. I have to say that the character development, the storytelling, the power scaling, it's so amazing in Hunter x Hunter. It isn't just, oh, I developed a new ability that's stronger than yours, or I can shoot a bigger blast, or I can transform into a super-duper version of myself. No, they use strategy. They use things that you wouldn't expect for a shonen anime. They break the mold here with Hunter x Hunter. Anybody who wants to create a comic book, anybody who wants to create a manga, should look at Hunter x Hunter's world building and power scaling and use it as an example for their future stories, because it's so well. They made the blueprint for how to make an amazing anime, an amazing show. I love this. It makes me so happy when I watch it, and it surprises me every time. Maybe because I haven't attached myself to any main character as my favorite, or side character as my quote-unquote favorite. Maybe it's helped me enjoy the story even more, and maybe it's just telling you just how well this place has been built. Everything makes sense. The fights all make sense. The characters make decisions based on their personalities. The characters grow from major events that happen throughout these arcs, and you can really appreciate that. Now, before I end this large review about my adventure in Hunter x Hunter, I just want to mention the Chimera Ant Arc. The Chimera Ant Arc is my favorite arc, and I'm not even done with it yet. York New City #2 for sure, but the Chimera Ant Arc is so well done. It is superb. I would say it has to be one of the greatest arcs of all time in anime history. It's so well done. It's very large, a lot of episodes, worth every minute of it. If you don't want to watch the entire Hunter x Hunter series, I would at least say watch the Chimera Ant Arc. I think as long as you know the name of the main characters, you'll enjoy it. It's a blast. You basically get to see the Hunter Society go on full war with these ants, these ant creatures. This is one of the first times that the hunters in this story are actually hunting literal monsters. So these ants can eat people and eat animals and have children that develop. Well, basically, there's an ant queen who eats creatures and then makes soldiers, and each soldier takes on traits of the creature she ate. So there's like fish versions of these ants, there's human versions of these ants, and it all really kicks off with her first eating a human child, which creates a humanoid version of the ants, and then slowly but surely she creates more and more of these humanoid ants. Chimera ants that are bigger and badder, and they can speak English, and they start having wants and needs, and then eventually they learn how to use Nen. At the same time, Gon and Killua have met one of Gon's father's old friends, Kite, this other character who I was really starting to get attached to, who midway through this, well, maybe a quarter of the way through this Chimera Ant Arc, gets his head cut off by one of the generals that this Ant Queen created. And now the king of the Chimera Ants has been born. I still don't know where this is going. This guy is ruthless as all hell. He reminds me a lot of Cell from Dragon Ball in his design. He wants to eat people, but not just regular people. He wants to eat people who can control their chakra, their Nen, because they taste the best, and it helps him evolve and become even stronger. And obviously this guy's the strongest villain that really this world has ever seen. I really hope that maybe it leads to this king ant fighting Gon's father. I can't imagine that Gon can beat this guy in any way, shape, or form. That's how strong he is. He is making hunter pros, like veteran hunters, shake in their boots, and he's so intimidating as a character, as a villain, and I'm so excited to see what this dude ends up doing. Right now, in the story where I'm at, he's playing chess and a bunch of strategy board games, and for a while now, for many episodes now, he's trying to learn different strategy styles before he decides to go full on king of the world fucking ant creature. It's really cool. Hunter x Hunter is worth your time. I'm telling you that right here, right now. If you love Yu Yu Hakusho, you will love this. If you love One Piece, you will adore this. If you love Naruto, you will love this. Like I said, the only thing holding it back for me, ranking it in my top 5 animes of all time, is really the characters. There wasn't one that grabbed me in a way, but not a bad thing at all. I'm enjoying it so well. It's in my top 10 animes of all time, and I'm excited to continue the journey. And I hear rumors that they're bringing it back, the anime that is, and continuing the story from where the anime left off, and I'm excited to see where that goes. Once again, let me know in the comments why I can't read this manga in the Shonen Jump manga app. I don't understand. I'm paying my $2 a month. What's going on there? There must be something, the deal with the author, because you also can't read Yu Yu Hakusho. I don't know. I'm Mr. Morfetto. If this is your first time coming here, please subscribe to the Mr. Morfetto YouTube page. Down in the comments, if you could let me know if you'd want me to do a more in-depth discussion about the arcs in Hunter x Hunter, I will. We will see. We will see what happens. We'll see how my ranking of this series goes as the story goes on. I'm telling you right now, the Chimera Ant Arc is slowly becoming one of my favorite anime arcs of all time. I, Mr. Morfetto, will talk to you later.